Hi, I'm Tara Watson-Watkins, President and CEO of the Lufkin, Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting business to the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Pollino with BP Media Group.
Welcome back to the show. It is that time of the year. It is time for United Way. We have them here on the podcast, Michelle Briley, Patrick Haney, and Jackie Zimmerman, here to talk about this year's fundraising efforts, the huge goal that they have set, and how you can get involved.
The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Well, it is United Way time. We're so excited to have y'all on the podcast. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners so they know who they're listening to?
Perfect. Hey, guys. Michelle Briley, and I am the campaign chair for United Way this year.
And you're also with Commercial Bank.
And with Commercial Bank, for sure. I guess I should have said that first.
I'm Patrick Haney with Lufkin Coca-Cola, and I am the president of the United Way this year.
Nice.
I'm Jackie Zimmerman. Pick something I'm with. United Way, Lufkin Creative, my own agency, Zimmerman Communications, and I have been with United Way for more than 20 years and mostly publicity.
Fantastic. Well, tell us, for those that somebody may not be familiar with what United Way is at all, how do you explain United Way to someone that's never heard of it?
Well, we kind of think that the focus of United Way is providing the basic needs for our friends and our neighbors. Basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter. Also, anytime there's a crisis, United Way can step in and help with crisis intervention. A lot of times something happens, say a fire, a natural disaster. People don't know where to turn, so they can call the United Way office. And Carla Height, who is the executive director of United Way, she can get them in touch with different agencies and different resources and help navigate that crisis situation to help them find the help that they need.
I love that. So specifically for Angelina County, how does United Way work? What does it mean for the county? How do the different charities work? How does that happen?
I'd say the primary thing is all of the money stays in Angelina County. I think a lot of us who've been involved with it a while kind of overlook that because it's like, oh yeah, we know that, but it really goes miles when you explain to people like, hey, every dollar given goes right here to I think the 11 agencies that we serve. So you can pick and choose where you want to go, but it's just a great thing for friends, family, neighbors. Everyone is affected or can use one of these agencies or benefits from one of these agencies. So it's a real local thing is one of the, for me, is what I think a big proponent of the United Way of Angelina County is.
You know, Patrick, you said something that I think a lot of people maybe aren't aware is that if you donate to United Way, it can go one of two places. It can either go into the big pot and go to the 11 agencies, or you can specifically say, I want my money to go to this agency. And I think there's a lot of people that don't realize that. There may be one of those 11 that's more near and dear to them, and they can actually specifically allocate it to
or
that.
They may have had a family who was involved with one of them, and they really were fond of that agency.
They want to give it back
exactly,
to them.
You know, and that's what it's about. I think is like the more people we get involved for whatever matter is great. But I think on the flip side of that is we have a great group of folks who really pour through these agencies to divide and choose how to allocate these funds. So I would say you can feel very good knowing that if you're giving it to the big bucket, that it's going to be spent very well as if you want to go to independent agencies like that. But that is what we do, is we really come through and be sure that there's a need for the agencies.
That's a great point.
I love that. And who are the agencies? I don't want to put you all on the spot. I know they may change, but who are the agencies, or what kind of agencies do these things go for?
We have 11, and the agencies, we back up a little bit, the agencies every year have to submit their request to be a United Way agency. Okay. And if they have never received agency money before, next year Carla sends out a letter and they can apply to be one. So they provide us their budget, and all their information. We go make site visits, and that's what Patrick was alluding to, is how we comb through. So this year, and I'm going to have to look at my page, just remember everybody, Alcohol and Drug Abuse Council, Hospice in the Pines, the Senior Citizen Center, and Meals on Wheels, one and the same, Boys and Girls Club of Lufkin and Diboll. I've got to remember, we have JD's Center of Hope, Gateway Community Partners, which used to be the Workshop and Opportunity Center. Cool. So people might know that. The McMullen Library in Huntington. And one of our biggest ones, the Salvation Army. And one of our smallest ones is the Angelina County Child Welfare Board, which, it's really hard for them to go out and do their own fundraising. So this is a huge deal, because these are kids who, by not of their own issue, are removed from their homes, and sometimes in the night they have nothing to take with them. And the funds that United Way helps clothe and find places for these kids to be, a bed, in some cases, if a family takes them. So the money is truly food, clothing, and shelter.
That's incredible.
What type of process do agencies have to go through to be vetted, I guess?
Just kind of like what Jackie was saying, they provide an application.
Okay.
There's an application which includes their budget. And one of our responsibilities, if you serve on the allocations committee, is to really look through that budget. If there's any red flags that you see, ask those questions, because we want to hold the agencies accountable for being good stewards of the money that they're given. The people that are on the allocation committee, they will go do an on-site visit, which means they will go tour the facility, speak with some of the people that are involved, even served through that organization. But just to really put a hands-on, eyes, feet on the ground type thing to make sure that the agencies are truly who they say they are. And that way, when they are selected, the public, citizens, they can be rest assured that these agencies are doing the work that they say that they're doing.
I was just thinking, years ago, I served on United Way, and one of the agencies that actually we've given money to over the years, we had some major red flags about. And so I want to assure the people that are listening that the group that is looking at these agencies, they're really doing their homework, because I will say we actually took a year off of giving money to that agency, but it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened, because we caught red flags that they were overlooking, and they weren't doing it on purpose. It was just they were trying to make everyday work. And there were a lot of different things that were brought up, and our committee actually helped solve the problems that they were having, and then got them back in code, got them back doing things that were legal again, and then they came back and got funds again from United Way. So I just want people to be very secure in donating money, that it's not just because an organization is a good thing in Lufkin, that you're actually looking at every detail of a budget, every detail of the ins and outs of the operations. It's almost like getting an audit.
It is. And the organizations are so wonderful. I'm sure you guys, and Tara, if you've been, and Blake, if you've ever not had the chance, we can put you right to work on serving. But they're so proud of the work they do too. And so they are always so welcoming and so inviting when we come in. We're not coming in to test or, check the heat of the oven or anything like that. We're just trying to make sure that they are doing what they say that they're doing. And they usually are really excited to show that off.
Yeah, it's comforting, because you would think, like, in theory, we're kind of going to check, right, to be sure, like, because that's ultimately what we're doing, in a sense, because we want to be sure we're allocating. But it's never received that way. It is always welcome to let us show you what we do for our community. And every person that we meet with at all these, it is unbelievable how passionate they are. I've lived in Lufkin my entire life, and I visited some agencies that you're like, wow, this is what y'all do here. I've passed it 100 times, right? So it's eye-opening in the least to just see, wow, we've got really good people in Lufkin. You hear it all the time, but then you go and see it firsthand, and it really, really makes a difference. So there's no animosity ever. Everyone's always welcoming. It's very upbeat. They're enthusiastic to have us most of the time, which is great.
Well, Jackie mentioned earlier about the Angelina County Child Welfare Board, and I have the privilege of serving on that board, and it was because of United Way. It was because of Wayne Haglund coming to a United Way allocation committee and sharing what they do. I had never even heard of them, and I remember running out after him, hey, Wayne, if you ever have an opening on that board, I would love to serve, just because I found out about something I had no idea even existed, and the amount of good work that they do in our community. That's right.
That's incredible. I love the efficiency. I mean, there are so many nonprofits in our community. We interview a ton of them here on this podcast, and so many doing so many great things. But I love the efficiency of being able to donate once and then it efficiently it's like an index fund of nonprofit donations. Like you can just donate to all these different places. How do y'all select those? Like, how do you choose which ones are a part every year? What's that process look like?
Well, they come to us. We send out information every year, I think in March or April. That's kind of an invitation, and Carla will or contact agencies, but and they have to fill out the information and bring it into us. Then the board will sit down and determine whether or not we want to move forward with them. They have to have been in a nonprofit for at least, I think, 3 or 4 years. They have to have the 501c3. There are certain regulations and requirements they have to meet, but they're not huge or hard requirements. They're regular nonprofit type requirements. And we want to make sure too that we are not double dipping with, all of our agencies provide technically unique services. I mean, the Salvation Army feeds, we know JD Center of Hope feeds, but they do differently. The Salvation Army every day at lunch, anybody and everybody who wants to come in and eat can have a hot meal. JD Center Hope, or they're feeding the kids. They're offering bags of food. The Senior Citizen Center is offering food, but the seniors come in, they get lunch, a hot meal every day while they're playing games and doing things and interacting like they need to. And then they're taking hot meals to people, physically homebound people. So while they do the same thing, it is not the same work. And that's one of our big requirements. We want to make sure that we are making sure the entire community is cared for with those necessities of life, food, clothing, and shelter.
I love that.
And when you say community too, Jackie, that's all of Angelina County.
Yeah.
A lot of times we just think Lufkin because that's the city that we are in right now, but it's all of Angelina County, Diboll, Huntington, Zavala.
They get, the drivers especially with Meals on Wheels are down in Zavala. I mean, those, they have a waiting list.
I was going to say,
They always
their
need
waiting
drivers.
list is just huge every year.
Yes, they need drivers. Give a shout out for them because that's one of my the agencies that I care a lot about, and so is feeding people who are homebound, or alone. And so anytime that person could get there and at least lay eyes on the homebound person and give them a hot meal is amazing.
That's right. So 77 years. That's hard to believe. And if I remember correctly, United Way of Angelina County has never not met the goal. Is that correct?
And we're going to meet it this year. There's no choice. We're meeting it this year.
What is the goal this year?
290,000.
290,000.
So it's a hefty goal for what's going on in our economic times, but we know we can do it. We have many people and businesses that step up every year, and we're just going to keep hitting the pavement till we make it. We're not going to not make it. So,
and it should be done in a month and a half. We'll kick off September the 13th.
Yes.
Technically, we'll have our first painting the first Friday in October.
Maybe the 6th.
The 4th.
Okay.
The 4th. And then, so we'll, we've been doing it and we hit about, early November, I think. First or second weekend in November, we should have reached it. We're one of the very few organizations that don't go year round trying to raise money. We want to get it done and it'll be done. And that way the community knows and our agencies know they start fundraising again.
That's right.
Because the agencies help us. That's one of the other things we failed to mention. The agencies are also responsible for helping raise funds. So they go out and hit the pavement too during United Way time to raise funds for themselves and for everyone else. And that's kind of a part of our deal as well. We're not just technically handing it over. You come in, you help everybody too, just like they do on their normal day.
Yeah. So this $290,000 goal, when this kicks off, what should people be looking out for? Where do they donate? Where are these funds coming in from that people need to be involved in? Are they just purely donations or their drives? Like, how does that work?
So I'm a big proponent of running a campaign at your business. If that is, I think, kind of a tradition that's gone away for the most part. But what I mean by that is, at Lufkin Coca-Cola, for example, we have a United Way meeting. We bring everyone in, we show the video, we kind of educate them on how all the money stays local, similar to what we're doing here, right? Just trying to bring it and make it hit home. And then we do something fun, like if you give your fair share plan, we have like a prize that you get, or if you enter into this, you get, or if you do this much of a donation, then you get entered into for a chance of a day off with pay or something. You know, we change it every year, try to keep it fun, but it gets people involved. But then we have it right there where you sign and it's payroll deducts. So say you do $1 a week, you just comes off your paycheck. You don't hit direct deposit, you never see it. And then that money goes directly up to the United Way. That is, in my opinion, a great way to get these large businesses involved. That takes a little bit of time to get organized and coordinated, but then it's kind of set it and forget it, right? You're not having to go bother them. You're not bugging them. Hey, I need your United Way money. No, it's just kind of already done. The easiest way is just to probably go to our website, unitedwayofangelinacounty.org, I believe. I can double check that, but you can give straight through there. So kind of if you're involved with the business, we love that. If you're just an individual giver, that as well. Really kind of there's tons of options. It's pick how you want to do it.
Bring your money to the chamber. These ladies here would help get it there as well. So usually donations through businesses. I want to echo what Patrick said. At Commercial Bank, we do the same thing. We have a My Fair Share, and it's amazing that people will give to wear jeans. That's incredible. But it's also a way, I think, we have the privilege of being out in the community, and we can see the needs, and we can see different organizations, but some of our coworkers that don't have that same luxury, they're stuck behind a teller line, can't leave. It gives them the opportunity to give as well. Mm-hmm. You know, we forget that others may want to participate. They just don't know how, or they want to give to something and don't know how. And so by your business doing a campaign, it allows your employees, your coworkers to have that opportunity. To fulfill that desire of theirs.
Educate them, right? Because there's always new people that come in now. There's the younger generation that may not know as much about United Way as some of the others. So it's just good every year to kind of keep that fresh. And to echo Jackie, I really enjoy it's one time of year, right? We really focus. Let's push it. Everyone band together. Let's work hard, and then let's enjoy for the we see what our hard work comes to fruition. So
see the fruit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun part, right?
United Way is, it's vital to our community, and the chamber is proud to have been the one that started United Way of Angelina County many, many, many years ago, along with other entities that are still under the chamber. Carla is technically a chamber employee. She gets our vacation, she gets our 401k, she gets our healthcare. Mm-hmm. We're so proud to continue to help with organizations like this. And so yes, if you don't know where to take your money, you bring it to the chamber, and we will get it to Carla, and United Way will be happy to help with that.
And look around for the thermometers.
That's right.
The thermometers show how we're doing each week at JCPenney's, one out in front of
Vera Bank.
One out in front of Vera Bank, and then one in front of the radio station.
Yes.
Timberland and First Street, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with what the thermometer is, it's a wooden sign of sorts. And so it just shows us different levels till we reach the goal. And that's the kind of the end result, is to be able to say, hey, we reached the top of the thermometer. We've met the goal. So,
and you paint it every Friday?
Every Friday in October.
Yeah.
And everyone is welcome. The one in front of JCPenney.
Okay.
Please come out. The weather's usually great.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yep. If you've never been a part of that, you really should go do it.
And we really encourage businesses that give and are a part of it. Come out. You can paint the sign. It's not just for us. We want to make it a community event.
And we're not there long. It's fun. We celebrate, and then everyone goes to work on Friday with kind of a pep in their step because we got to raise the thermometer that week.
Right. Yeah,
that's awesome. I've been looking forward to that my whole life. I love seeing it, just because when you hit the goal, it explodes out the top, right? That's the best part. The best part. Yeah. So if you've definitely seen it.
Then the silly string.
Then the silly string.
That's right.
I remember the year that Trent Ashby ended up with red paint all down his brand new slacks with the silly string and everything else, and he was like, "Well, there go those pants."
That's awesome. Worth it.
Worth it for sure.
If people want to be involved above donating, how can they get involved with this?
Well, we would love to have people with that budget committee, the allocation committee that we talked about. We are always needing community volunteers. We welcome community volunteers. If that's something that piques your interest, let us know. We'd love to show off those organizations, and the organizations love to show themselves off as well. So we can always use people to help come and vet those organizations with us.
Fresh new ideas are always welcome. It's great. And similar to kind of how you give, you can approach any of these other outlets. We are happy to have anyone. So yeah, we can go through that process.
Contact Carla at the United Way office, and her office is down on Denman.
Okay.
I don't know the exact number, but it's on Denman.
1019.
There you go.
1019. It's inside the Integra Insurance business.
Oh, great. Awesome. There's a sign outside.
The sign outside.
Yeah,
of
so I mean,
Integra.
anytime you want to help volunteer, put your name on, or get on the website, contact us that way. So,
You know, and another way, Blake, too, just what Patrick and I were discussing, have your business support financially. If you are kind of, if that piques your interest, call us. We are happy to
That's where
come
we
to a
come in
business.
play. If
and
someone needs more
yeah.
education, please let us know, because we're happy to walk through. We can do it with you at your business. Like I said, it doesn't take a long time. It just some planning and then set it and forget it, right? But we'd be happy to come and kind of coach y'all through, or whomever through.
And do you still do the video?
we have a video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's
We will
less
be.
than
If
5
you, I was
minutes.
going to say,
Yeah.
if you really want to pique your employees' interest, get a hold of that video
Yes.
because it really does explain.
We are
It
going
does.
to debut it this Friday at First Friday Luncheon.
good.
Oh,
So
great.
we're excited about that.
Yes.
And then we'll kick it off and have it out there for YouTube and different things for people to
Yeah.
show their employees. So
Yeah.
the chamber graciously is going to allow us to do that Friday. So we're excited about that.
Awesome. So by the time you listen to this, it will be out in the wild, so you can find that video and
That's right.
on YouTube and go watch that.
on the United Way website, usually the Lufkin Daily website, Kix, K-Fox website.
Cool.
So
Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for your time. We appreciate y'all coming on and talking about this incredible organization. And if you're listening at home, please go donate to United Way. Check that thermometer every time you drive by. Make sure that it's progressing the way that it should. And for all of our listeners who are small business owners, get involved with this. The payroll option is fantastic. So if that's something that you and your employees can participate in, please reach out to them and do that as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.